Now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Sunday, January 4th, 2026. And we have some very active weather across the southern half of Alaska to begin the early new year. First and foremost, we've had around since much of the holiday season frigid temperatures. Those have been the case across the eastern interior. This morning, 60 below zero at the Tok Airport. Katie, our observer in Tok, had her coldest temperature there of 63 degrees since back in January of 2009 when she had one morning of 75 and the next of 77 below zero. That's just crazy cold. But nevertheless, that's some of her coldest temperatures she's seen here in well over 15 years. And then the Aleutians have been getting buffeted by high winds and rain showers. That system is spreading heavy snow and blizzard conditions up along the southwest coast that'll spread inland tonight. And then moderate to heavy snow will overspread south central Alaska late tonight, Monday into Tuesday and early Wednesday, including Anchorage and on up into the lower Mat-Su Valley. Same frontal system is going to spread heavy snow into the northeastern Gulf Coast around Yakutat and into the Panhandle very late tonight, but especially on Monday morning. And snow will linger across southeast Alaska through Tuesday with additional accumulations possible. But one of the concerns there around Juneau in the northern part of the Panhandle are the heavy snow loads could threaten structures. Juneau area picked up over 80 inches of snow just in the month of December. Their normal season snowfall total for the year is 88 inches, so that's incredible. And they have over 50 inches of snow on the ground in Juneau. That's a new record for snow depth. So Tok, partly cloudy, frigid, 56 degrees below zero as of early afternoon around 2 p.m. There are a few clouds, but still another very cold night ahead. Kitnik there along the Kuskokwim coastline, seeing snow and wind moving in this afternoon with near blizzard conditions, and even heavier snow and gustier winds will be arriving here as we go through Sunday night and spreading inland. Dutch Harbor in the wake of the front, having some strong winds, high wind warnings there with occasional rain showers. Temperature was briefly up near 50 in the early afternoon, but it come down to 46 as of 2 o'clock in Homer. Increasing clouds, you can see that storm front approaching from the southwest. Homer will see snow develop later this evening and continue overnight into Monday morning. Temperature there 10 degrees. And here's a beautiful image from the Falcon Inn at Eagle, Alaska, where temperatures were in the 50s below zero. The full wolf moon. Thank you, Charlie and Marley, there for that image. And here are the current watch warnings advisories. These are cold weather advisories that continue into Monday. We have a high wind watch, Point Hope to Point Lay, and high wind warnings for the Bering Strait, Shishmaref, Wales down to Teller, and a crossover to Savunga and Gamble, because northeasterly winds are going to be strengthening as this low comes up into southwest Alaska. Meanwhile, the southwest coast, blizzard warnings here, Makoriak, down along the Kuskokwim coastline. Already we've seen those blizzard conditions move into Makoriak and pushing in, spreading up toward Bethel as we go through this Sunday evening. And heavier snows, winter storm warnings for the interior portion of the lower Yukon and much of the Kuskokwim Valley all the way up to McGrath up along the west side of the Alaska Range. Some areas here are going to get over a foot of snow, could be 1-2 feet of snow around Lake Iliamna. In addition, we have the high wind warnings that extend across the Aleutian chain up through the lower half of the Alaska Peninsula. And we have winter weather advisories that extend up here along the western northern Kenai Peninsula up through Anchorage and the lower Mat-Su Valleys. And as a result, these winter storm warnings, we have the blizzard warning here that includes Bethel, Kipnik, Makoriak. You're going to have winds gusting as high as 50 miles an hour with 8 to 16 inches of snow. Further inland, we have winter storm warnings and snow amounts of at least 7 to 14 inches with gusts 40 to near 50 miles an hour. We have high wind warnings extending from the Aleutians up along the lower half of the Alaska Peninsula. Some of these gusts through some of the gaps could be as high as 80 to 100 miles an hour through here. So very powerful winds. And a high wind watch has also been issued, or a wind advisory now has been posted here for the northern portion of the peninsula. And as a result of those strong winds, we have high surf advisories all along the Alaska Peninsula, especially along the Bering side. And then as we trail out toward the eastern Aleutians, and then a coastal flood advisory here for areas along Bristol Bay, especially from Dillingham to Naknek. This area, when you have the high tide Monday evening, could see water levels 5 to 8 feet above the normal highest tide line. So that area there, again, near King Salmon, Dillingham to Naknek, could see higher water levels. And then now shifting things toward south central and on over toward the Panhandle, we have winter weather advisory, a long duration event late this Sunday night into early Wednesday morning. We could be looking at 6 to 12 inches of snow in this region, a few areas getting a little heavier amounts, especially the hillsides of Eagle River and Anchorage picking up potentially, could see over a foot of snow. And then winter storm warnings for northeastern Gulf Coast, Yakutat, on up through the Icy Strait Corridor, in through Skagway, Juneau. These areas could pick up 6 to 12 inches of snow very early Monday morning through Monday evening, with additional snowfall Monday night into Tuesday, because there will be ongoing snow or snow showers affecting these areas and adding additional snow. So some places here, especially in the northern Panhandle, northeastern Gulf Coast, could end up with well over a foot of snowfall. Winter weather advisories for Sitka and Ketchikan. These areas not expected to get quite as heavy as snow, maybe 3 to 8 inches, along with some mixing, maybe a little bit of rain could mix in. But otherwise, this is going to be a very active weather pattern here to start the early week. So very clearly on the satellite image, you can see the curl in the clouds out here toward the Aleutians into the Bering. Rather deep low that has been down near 950 millibars with the front arcing ahead of it. And this front is what behind it is producing the strong winds across the Aleutian chain. That's why we have those high wind warnings. And then the snow that's going to be spreading across the southwest interior, west arm of the Alaska Range. Heavy snowfall this Sunday night into Monday. And that front will spread eastward, bringing the snow up along the Kenai Peninsula, up into Anchorage and the lower Mat-Su. Very late tonight and early on Monday morning, there'll be an initial burst of some lighter snow here in south central, with some steadier, heavier snow possible Monday night into Tuesday, as this whole frontal system secondary low forms here in the western Gulf, and that's going to keep the snow falling over this region. That's why this is a longer duration winter weather advisory. But again, some snowfall amounts easily 6 to 12 inches in that couple of day period. And then as the front comes into the colder air here across the Panhandle, it's going to be heavy snow, Yakutat, Juneau, on up to White Pass and all those areas. So again, we have another round of heavier snow coming into the Juneau area, so be cautious there with keeping the roofs clear of that excessive weight loads from the heavy snowfall that's happened over the past couple of weeks. So looking at the weather map late tonight into Monday morning, we have a series of low pressures. The main low sitting here coming through near St. Paul, and that's going to be coming onshore near Cape Newingham as we go through tonight and early Monday morning. Secondary low will begin to take shape in the western Gulf very late tonight, early Monday morning. And then as we get into Monday afternoon, the initial, the preliminary low that came up across the western Aleutians will be coming onshore into the southwest interior, west of the Alaska Range, north of Bristol Bay, while the secondary low takes shape outside of Hinchinbrook Entrance in the northwestern Gulf. That's what's going to help fling some moisture back toward the Anchorage Bowl as we get into Monday night and Tuesday. So there'll be additional snowfall with that feature. Meanwhile, this occluded front pushing moisture all across the Panhandle, so there'll be one round of snow coming through the Panhandle, especially from Monday morning into the evening, with additional snowfall possible Monday night to Tuesday as the occluded front pushes inland and weakens. There may be enough warmer air coming in along the outer coast of the Panhandle and in the southern Panhandle to see a little bit of rain mixing in to keep the snow totals down in that area, but heavy snow likely in the northern Panhandle back toward Yakutat. Some of that moisture creeps northward into the interior in the form of some lighter snow, but nevertheless, this low, then the low that's located along the eastern Kenai becomes the dominant low, and that's what stands to increase the snow across south central areas, including places like Moose Pass and Turnagain Pass. Those places could pick up some very heavy snow, especially as we go into Monday evening through the day on Tuesday. And Wednesday, the low begins to fill and weaken, and we have the remnant fronts, a trough that's come inland into British Columbia, and a kind of a secondary cold front that'll be pushing up against the outer Panhandle coast Wednesday afternoon. There's another low sitting back out here toward the North Pacific, bringing mainly some lighter rain showers to the Aleutian chain, but not as potent as this most recent low that came through during the weekend. So cold temperatures, absolutely. Still could see some areas near 60 below within the Yukon Flats and along the Alcan border. At the very least, a number of temperatures back below 50 below for tonight. And as we get further south and west, temperatures come up above freezing along the Alaska Peninsula into the Aleutians. The thing of note is that you will see temperatures moderate here in southwest Alaska with the snow and cloud cover. Areas of the panhandle, plenty of cold air, so when that moisture hits Monday morning, it's going to be in the form of snow. But later in the day, by Monday evening, we could see temperatures rising into the lower 40s at Sitka and Craig, but stay just below freezing, and Juneau, where the snow could become wetter and heavier. So that's another concern for those snow loads on structures there in the northern part of the panhandle. Still cold to the north along the Brooks Range and North Slope. Some areas still only having to struggle to get above 30 below, but notice it will not be quite as cold in the north or eastern interior as it has been, because the system does bring in a little milder air along with the cloud cover, and areas of snow will serve to moderate temperatures a bit compared to where they have been. Low temperatures should stay above freezing. Sitka down through Craig, Klawock, on over toward Metlakatla and Ketchikan for Monday night into early Tuesday morning. And then for Tuesday afternoon, we do find some temperatures could get back up near 30 at Homer, Seward. We could see 38 degrees at Middleton Island, but still near or just below freezing Juneau up towards Skagway and Haines, where there'll still be additional snowfall possible into the day on Monday night into Tuesday. So again, this is going to be a longer duration event for the northern panhandle, northeastern Gulf Coast. And we could still see some lingering areas of snow over south central as we go through Tuesday afternoon and evening. The snow should continue even into early Wednesday morning. So here's the pattern for as we approach mid-January, January 10th through the 14th. Above normal temperatures across the southeast, especially the panhandle, the central southern panhandle, and then colder than normal temperatures along the west coast, especially Chukchi down along the southwest coast in through the lower Alaska Peninsula and Aleutians. Well, when you have this kind of pattern in January, that's not necessarily good news. Warmer doesn't mean more rain necessarily. It means moist weather systems bring that moisture in, and especially the northern panhandle could get in on some additionally heavier snowfall as a result of this. Also in areas of the southeast mainland and south central still could tap into snow, because this is the kind of pattern that brings the lows up into the Gulf and then pulls them back to the north and west. And look at this. Yes, the potential for January 10th through the 14th precipitation likely will average above normal over all of the panhandle, up into the eastern Alaska range and Wrangell, St. Elias Mountain, Copper, Central Eastern Copper River Basin. So these areas could pick up definitely some heavier snowfall in that time frame. The cutoff will be more notable along the west coast, more typical. If you do get snow, it'll be more toward the lighter side, but right now it looks like the eastern and especially southeast mainland into the northern panhandle stands a pretty good chance of seeing additional significant snowfall January 10th through the 14th, just prior to mid-month.